Hi, folks. I'm Jamie Hiles.
I'm Lydia Judy.
And I'm the butt blaster, Derek Lemaster.
That's
Wow.
the one.
Wow. This is Screen Bloody Movies, a podcast where we review a horror movie each week, go over the horror news, and Derek gives himself really strange nicknames. Though the butt blaster does sound like it would fit in with the Mad Max universe. So you're probably running around with Dementus or something. Just
Yeah, can we start this over?
No, that's the most fitting.
staying.
That's the
That's
most fitting
staying.
nickname I've heard.
100% that's staying. It was a beautiful
my
opening. You called yourself the
goodness.
butt blaster. I forgot to turn on my sign, so I did it mid-talk. 0 notes. It's the way this show should start. Always.
We're doing it live! We're doing
Doing
it
it live! How are you guys doing tonight?
Doing good. How about you guys?
Pretty
It's gotten
good. Pretty
steadily
good.
better as the night went on.
Yeah, it's pretty good for me. We are just so close to finishing this scene, guys. I mean, so close to this. We have some color correction and some effects work to finish up, and then we'll be ready to present this to you guys and start making money for this feature because it's going to be great. The scene is cutting together so well, right, Derek? I mean, it's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Lydia, you saw it. You saw
Yes, I
an
did.
almost finished version. What do you think?
It's mind blowing. It's awesome.
It's crazy that we did it, right?
It really is. I can't believe it. It looks so good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you and me
I
both.
love the actors. The actor and
Oh.
actress that we got for
The
this.
Yeah, they're
actors,
so good.
yeah, they're
There's a
amazing.
couple of spots where I'm just like, every time. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
You nail it. Yeah, they're great. They're great to work with too. So look for that very soon.
Yes.
So tonight we of course have we're doing Jack Arnold's 1954 Creature feature, Creature from the Black Lagoon. The Gill Man is here, or as Derek likes to call him, I don't know if it's an appropriate name, but Blackfish Guy. Especially since I
Well,
think he's green.
It was the creature from the Black Lagoon. And he was a fish man. I played with the words, okay?
Yeah, well, you are the best at playing with words. You do call Lumberjack Man LBJ.
Yeah.
That's how
I thought you were trying to make a statement. And I was like,
what in my naming of this episode?
yeah.
A
So you're being
statement.
socially conscious.
Exactly, yeah.
Blackfish guy. I don't understand.
We'll get into it.
Because
Okay.
he's like, as soon as they see him, they start shooting him, like the authorities might to a person of color.
Oh my goodness. Had nothing to do with that.
Though appropriate. All right. Before we talk about Blackfish Guy, let's get into the horror news. And I have some doozies here, guys. I have some legit, really good horror news. Let's start with... You know what? Let's start with this one and blow your minds immediately. You ready? This is crazy. Because it's been announced that Paul Giamatti is starring in a new Hostel TV series from Eli Roth, Chris Briggs, and Mike Fless.
What?
What network picked this up?
Let me see here. Apple TV. What is it? Apple TV, maybe? Let's see.
I mean, he's got to be like the hostile innkeeper.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know if it's. I don't know if it says in this article, but should it move forward, it would be his latest TV foray. So Yeah, I don't know if it says where, but I'm thinking maybe it's from the studio behind Apple TV Severance, so I'm going to assume Apple TV, right? Uh, but what do you guys think? Paul Giamatti recently said his favorite genre is horror, and he would love to do some horror. And then here we are.
Oh my gosh.
Someone
Oh
was
my
listening.
gosh.
Dude,
Yeah,
I
and
love Paul Giamatti.
somebody with Paul Giamatti's acting ability. Come on,
Yeah.
come
Yeah,
on.
one thing I don't want to see is him getting tortured because I feel like that would be very upsetting.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
wouldn't be fun. So he needs to be
No.
torturing somebody, so we're at least having fun, I guess.
I don't want that either, though. I'm scared.
You want
Well, maybe that's the purpose.
a funny
Yeah.
side note. I remember the very first time that I saw him in a movie.
What was that?
It was Private Parts.
Howard Stern's Private Parts, yeah.
Yeah, and I that was the first time I ever saw him in a movie, and he made such an impact. Every
Yeah,
time
he's
I watch a
amazing.
movie, I'm like, yeah, Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, he's awesome.
You know what,
Guys,
you
if you
are?
haven't
You're the motherfucking Antichrist.
if you haven't seen the Holdovers yet, you guys need to watch it. It's fucking incredible.
He's great in everything
It's
he does.
so good. I watched it after it came out on streaming, and it was like a lazy Sunday. I was like, I'll check this out because I've been hearing great reviews on it. And after it was over, I was like, good stuff. Feel good inside my soul. So it did its job.
Nice.
All right, guys, the MonsterVerse has a new director. The new sequel to Godzilla Kong has the new director of Grant Sputor, who did a movie called I Am Mother, is now directing this new saga. We also know that Dave Callahan is writing the upcoming sixth movie in the MonsterVerse. So what we know is that Apple TV has struck a multi-series deal with Legendary, which includes multiple spin-offs based off the franchise. So we're also getting a Monarch Season 2 as well. So we're getting all the Godzilla goods coming after us. Godzilla and Kong. And I know you guys are all in for that, right?
Definitely.
Oh yeah. I will. I have not had a chance to see the new one in the theaters, but I am going to probably buy that movie. I'm so excited.
Yeah. I mean, they're great, right? I mean, Godzilla vs. Kong,
Yep.
the first one was so good. And King of the Monsters is my favorite. It's so awesome. So yeah, bring on more of the MonsterVerse. And guys, just so you know, Godzilla Minus One is on Netflix currently. So if you haven't watched it, watch it because it's fucking brilliant. It's just another level. It's different than a MonsterVerse is fun and goofy. Godzilla Minus One is serious and dramatic and also fun. Big blockbuster. But it's hit you right in the feels. Lydia, you're going to cry. I guarantee it.
Oh, it doesn't take much.
Yeah, Derek will probably cry too, to be honest. Because I was
one of
teary-eyed.
those.
Derek's a movie crier, aren't you, Derek?
No, only when it's really dusty.
He's too
and the
manly
room
for
that I'm
that.
watching it in. Yeah,
This
I
is
am.
cool, guys. There's a brand new Ghostbusters animated series coming to Netflix. We don't know much except that kind of. So we don't know where it's when it's set in the timeline or anything. But hey, I'm all for more Ghostbusters, right? It's
You froze. So what?
Oh.
There's a Ghostbusters movie coming to Netflix?
no, it's a Ghostbusters cartoon, animated cartoon coming to Netflix.
I'm gonna be one of the cool kids, and I'm pretty sure the lingo still is around. That's dope.
That is dope. I mean, we don't know when it's set in the series. We don't know if it features the new characters in it or what. But
Oh man,
if it's anything like the real Ghostbusters is one of the all-time fucking best cartoons.
dude, just
It's like
pick that up
unmatched.
where it left off. I loved the real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, they had a
One of
sequel
my
series. You
favorites.
guys remember that? The Extreme Ghostbusters.
Nope.
It was okay. It was fun. The original characters, Egon is the main returning character in that one. He hosts this. He kind of like mentors this new group of Ghostbusters. Then the originals come back for the big events to help them. But it's a lot of fun. I love. Hey, I can't wait for you guys to see Frozen Empire because I was a fan of it. Thought it was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Gonna bring us down a little bit here, guys, because we had a Friday the 13th family member pass away. Eric Anderson, who played, of course, Rob Deer in Friday the 13th Part 4, has passed away. You guys remember Rob, of course, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's killing me. He's killing me. You know.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Of course, he was on tons of other stuff. He was on NCIS, CSI, The X-Files, Bosch. A lot. He did a lot of work. Murder, She Wrote. Like, he just worked constantly. But he has passed away of cancer. Which is unfortunate. Man. Yeah. But good. He was also famously Felicity's dad on the show Felicity.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yep. So, yeah. Godspeed, sir. I got some big news for Lydia. I can't wait to share it here in a minute. So, Jake Gyllenhaal has joined the cast of The Bride with Christian Bale.
What?
Yeah, you know the Christian Bale Frankenstein movie with Maggie Gyllenhaal directing it?
Uh-huh.
So her brother is now in it. He in an unspecified role. This also stars Penelope Cruz, Peter Sarsgaard, Annette Bening. Wow. This movie is getting stacked and more stacked, right?
It's gonna be wild, man. Wild, yeah. I tell you.
I'm down. What do you guys think?
Yep.
I'm nerve-sided.
Could go either way for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Guess what, guys? Mike Flanagan's Hush is being teased for a physical release.
Ooh.
So right now you can't watch Hush anywhere. It's not streaming anywhere. It's like just off in the ether.
Really?
Yeah, because it was on Netflix and it's been pulled. It hasn't been on for a while. So, but Flanagan recently teased that we're going to be getting a physical copy. It said, if you've been looking for Hush and it's nowhere to be found, it'll be back soon. It'll be everywhere. You'll be able to stream it. You'll be able to have it in your collection. And it's going to be worth the wait because we did some really awesome new stuff for it. Which is awesome. We haven't done Hush for this show yet, but it's a fucking banger.
Yeah, we should definitely do that one.
Yeah, we will definitely hit it up. We can't right now because it's not streaming. But
oh, yeah.
Once it's available, we'll do it.
I recorded it on VHS, so.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Was it after Speed?
No, it wasn't that. There's only one great VHS copy of Speed. We all know that. Speed Special Edition. Finally, here's the last bit of news. Hey, Lydia, guess what?
What?
Mark Duplass has announced that there is going to be the Creep Tapes TV series.
No, that's not what I
wanted. and Creep 3 is finally on the way. Oh, so yeah, it's the television series, the Creep Tapes. Each episode exposes a new victim from one of the fabled Creep Tapes.
I have no context for what you're talking about.
Dang it.
So there's a found footage horror movie. Mark Duplass and company wrote and directed and starred in called Creep, and it's great. It's really good, and it terrifies Lydia. It's one of the movies that has terrified her, right, Lydia?
I did not like it. No, yeah,
it terrified her. And
it made me sick. It was like I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was it just got in my head and it drove me crazy.
So they're not making they already made a sequel, Creep 2. but we're not getting a third movie. Instead, we're getting a TV series, so Lydia can sit through the entire TV series when we start doing the Creep movies.
Well, we don't do TV series on this podcast, so
We do if they're tied to movie franchises, because we got to get to Ash vs. Evil Dead.
that's true. How are we gonna do that? Oh my gosh!
I
That'd be
guess
fun.
we'll just watch them. We'll set a date. You know what I mean, like a time frame for when we got to watch it by, and then we'll say, okay, so by this day we're gonna do Ash vs. Evil Dead season 1, and then by this day season 2, so on and so forth. And well, season 3, because there's only 3 seasons, unfortunately. There should have been 15 seasons of Ash vs. Evil Dead, by the way. Am I right?
Yeah. Yes.
Should have ran forever.
I'm ready. I'm ready for that.
Yeah, that's fucking great. And that wraps up the horror news. Lydia, will you be checking out the creep tapes?
Probably not.
Dude, I saw this. As soon as I saw the news, I was like, "Oh my god, I can't wait to talk to Lydia about this."
Dang it. I was excited. You tricked me.
It said it's currently being shopped to buyers, but he said the series is based on a collection of videotapes in the secret vault of the world's deadliest and most socially uncomfortable serial killer, who hires his victims to film him for the day under false pretenses. Each episode exposes a new victim. Ooh. Sounds fun.
So disturbing.
What's so disturbing about it? What's so disturbing about it to her, Derek, because you haven't seen Creep, we'll have to do it at some point, but what's so disturbing to her about it is that it's also very funny and awkward, and she just can't handle this whole mix of funny, awkward,
I didn't think it was funny.
The
I
actor
thought
from Office Space?
Yeah.
No, it's not. He's not from. It's not Ron Livingston. It's Mark Duplass, who looks like him. Yeah.
Oh.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought he was in Office Space.
Well, he's not the main character in Office Space. Is that who you're talking about? That's
yeah.
That's Ron Livingston.
I've never seen Office Space. I know.
Creep,
I know.
right?
Yeah.
Creep. It does look a lot like him.
Yeah, but it's not.
I guess maybe it's not.
Yeah,
Like
and
I
I've never
said,
seen that guy in anything. So when I watched that movie, I was not thrilled, or like I was not like laughing or finding
He's
any
so
of it
funny.
funny.
He's
I was
usually really funny.
completely disturbed the whole movie.
I thought it was really funny. I'm laughing at the awkwardness, and I'm like, oh man. And then I talked to you about it. You're like, because I was like, hey, have you seen Creep? And you had like a 7-mile stare. Yes, I've seen Creep.
I've not seen it.
It got me. It got me
didn't
bad.
mean to get around to that one.
Hot for teacher. All right. Guys, so picture it. It's 1954. You go to the local drive-in, you put on your 3D peepers, and you check out the latest creature feature to come down the lane. And it is Jack Arnold's underwater horror-ish fantasy creature from the Black Lagoon. Lydia, this was your pick.
Yes.
Tell me about your experience with the creature, and when's the first time you watched it?
I think the first time I watched it, I hadn't seen it like up until like high school, and I think I bought it. I'm pretty sure I bought it. I cannot find it. I can't find my copy of it, but I think I had it for a while because I would just kind of have it on like repeat, just because I liked the vibes of it so much. Just yeah, I don't know, something about it I really like, and I'm such a creature feature person that I feel like this one was like, you know, this is an ultimate creature feature, like an original, just true, cheesy, good.
It's definitely cheesy, and it's definitely from the 50s.
Yes, but to me, it's just beautiful, and it's
got that vibe. It's got that vibe.
Yeah.
Derek, have you ever seen Creature from the Black Lagoon?
Man, I know that I have. Now, this might as well have been a first watch for me, but I know that I've seen it before. Um, and I know that it was on Channel 4 back in the day
It
when there
was,
were
yeah.
only 13 channels. I know it was
Yep.
on Channel 4 and I know I watched it. I don't remember the specifics of it.
Yep, it was
So,
definitely on Channel 4. It was part of the like shock theater package. So
mm-hmm.
here's a little history lesson for you. In the 50s and 60s, they started putting out the Universal monster movies onto TV. They started putting them on the TV, and they called them the shock theater feature. And so you'd have or shock feature theater, and you'd have so they had Dracula, Frankenstein, Wolfman. They had these horror movies, and then later they had Son of Shock, which released like Creature from the Black Lagoon in the later cycle of Universal horror movies. So that's why you would see these like on Channel 4 and stuff, because they would license these features. And the first time I saw this, I don't remember either. It was definitely as a kid. It was probably on Channel 4 as well. Or the first time I remember like watching it, because as a little kid, I remember seeing it,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew who the creature was. But watching it was like on Turner Classic Movies during the Halloween Monster Fest, and it was on, and I watched it because I was into all those Universal monster movies, and the creature is the last of the Universal monster movies. A lot of people say that the creature is the end of the Universal monster canon. That's when it ends, is with the Creature from the Black Lagoon movies, especially the sequels. So yeah, but I hadn't seen this movie in easily 20 years, probably. It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. And so I bought it today on iTunes because I didn't have it as part of my Universal collection. And this was the first time watching it in 4K. Because you could either rent it for $3.99 on 4K or buy it for $4.99 on 4K. And I was like, well, might as well buy it, right? $1
Yeah.
more, might as well own it.
We bought it too.
Yeah, might as well. It looks
I watched
great
it for
in 4K.
free.
It looked so good.
Yeah, looks great. So yeah.
What did you say, Derek? Did you watch it? Did you buy it?
No, I watched it. I found like an archived internet site that had a bunch of old movies on it, and it had the Creature from the Black Lagoon on it.
Was it in color?
Derek,
in person. It
spend
was in 1080p.
spend the $4 to pay the creators of the movie.
Well, maybe I will. We own a copy. I just don't have a DVD. Well, I do have a DVD player, but you know what? I would have had to have jumped through hoops, so I just found it online. But
So did I. I just went to iTunes and just bought it for $4.
Well,
Clicked one button, jumped through one hoop.
It was easy peasy lemon squeezy. But what do you guys think? What do you guys want to talk? Where do you guys want to start with this thing? Let's start with the design of the creature. Let's start there, because that's really the selling point of this movie.
It really is.
What do you think of the creature?
Do you want to go, Derek?
sure. I loved it. I thought that it. You know what? I kept thinking when I was watching this movie. It's like, man, this movie is prime for a remake. And
1,000,000%. Yeah.
You'd have to go with like a practical suit, none of the CGI shit. But I just kept thinking that in the back of my head, man. Jamie and I could make a killer movie with this material. But I loved it. I thought it was really great. Actually, of the monster, like the Universal monster movies that we've watched so far, I feel like this one was probably, as far as the suit goes, because the only other one that was kind of scary was the Wolfman. But like this one, like had a different, and maybe it was because it was just, it looked so good. I liked it.
The creature design is excellent. The Gill Man is excellent. Yeah, he
Black
looks
Fish
great.
guy.
Yeah,
It
Black Fish
scares
guy
me.
looks phenomenal.
It scares me to think of the guy in the suit in the water.
Yeah, that's that is scary. That is, of course, Riku Browning plays the Gillman underwater, and then Ben Chapman plays the Gillman on land.
Really?
Yes,
I would have hired the
yes.
guy with the world record for longest like holding your breath, just in case something went wrong. Like, I want that guy in the water. It seemed like he could move pretty well in the water, though.
Well,
Oh yeah,
he was a stunt
pulls
man.
it off.
He was a stunt man and actor at the time, and a skilled swimmer. That's how he did underwater stunt work. He also was in. He does a bunch of the underwater scenes for Thunderball, the James Bond movie Thunderball as well. And
Really?
this is wild. He's the co-creator of Flipper.
What?
Yeah.
What? I didn't know.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
And here's another crazy thing. He just passed away in February of last year at the age of 93.
Wow.
Fucking legend.
Yeah.
Legend, this guy.
Yeah.
Right? He was also a
imagine
Marine coordinator,
his scrapbook?
actor, and stuntman with 2 daughters and 10 grandchildren, 11 great-grandchildren. This guy lived the life, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
You know?
Yeah.
His
Just
scrapbook had to be like amazing.
I'm going to go on a slight little tangent. I'm going to share some of the film credits that he was the second unit director on and stunt coordinator. Flipper, he co-created, was the co-writer, stunt coordinator, the second unit director. He was the second unit director on Thunderball and the stunt coordinator for the underwater scenes. He was second unit on Caddyshack, on Raise the Titanic, on Never Say Never Again. He was the second unit director for the underwater stunt scenes. Yeah, it's pretty great, right?
Wow.
I never would have thought that. I never have looked that up or anything. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's awesome. But the creature design, let's talk about that again. Because the Gillman design is created by Jack Craven. So let's see. The designer of the approved Gillman was Millicent Patrick, though her role was deliberately downplayed by makeup artist Bud Westmore, who for half a century received sole credit. So really, Millicent Patrick was a huge part of it. Millicent Patrick, who was a Disney animator, by the way. And this fucking is wild. And makeup artist Bud Westmore created the design of the creature. Jack Kevin, who worked on Wizard of Oz and made prosthetics, created the bodysuit, while Chris Molnar Jr. sculpted the head. So this was a four-person operation, because Millicent, of course, is a woman.
You know what's so crazy?
Yeah.
So imagine being on any of these projects, right? And you are working with these other people, and they like everything you just mentioned is so embedded in like movie history. Like it's just when you're in the moment, I'm sure it doesn't dawn on you what you've worked on, like the crazy projects and how successful that they would become. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too sentimental about it, but that's just like it's amazing.
You're right.
That all the projects
amazing.
that the people worked on and how successful they were. That's amazing. I'm in awe right now.
Yeah, and the design of the creature is amazing. I mean, he looks great. Yeah. Of course, he, with some modern effects, modern prosthetics, he would be more mobile in his face and stuff. He'd be even cooler.
They had like his neck moving and everything.
Yeah, that's cool. But he also has this going on.
Yeah, that was the only part about it. That and the eyes. The eyes
because the dead eyes in the
which
are the only thing that
play. Yeah, exactly, exactly. And the dead eyes can kind of play into like the creature aspect of it, but you're right. Those two things are the only things that really date that suit. It looked phenomenal.
Yeah, because a lot of suits back then you could like see all the seams of everything and like didn't.
Yeah,
even
it is a seamless
anatomical.
Suit, which is incredible. Yeah,
it's
pretty seamless. Yeah, and it's the way it moves really well because it's a full fitting bodysuit, and you don't really see the connecting pieces, which is important. Especially what's cool is you can see the scale, especially in the 1080 or the 4K. You can see like his scales. Especially like when the arrow's in him and he has to pull the spear out. You can see like the scales, and I'm like, as I'm watching, like, man, that's some great work. So the creature is 100% like the best part of this movie. I mean, it's the best part, the creature.
It's
Because
why this movie has lasted like the test of time.
it is 100% why this movie is remembered. Because
Yeah.
guys, the rest of this movie kind of lurches along.
Yeah.
It's a little slow. It's a little slower paced. And not necessarily. So there's stuff.
It's redundant.
That's it.
Redundant.
It is redundant because it like kind of just repeats the same beats over and over again.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because that's all they can do.
Sometimes even repeating the same shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
When we first see the creature, we see the same
hand.
shot of his hand twice.
twice.
I was
Yep.
like, why did you do that? Why did you do that?
Yep.
That's a
And
strange
he just like
choice.
keeps getting on the boat,
Yeah, he keeps getting on the boat, getting off the boat, getting on, and they keep going underwater, above
screaming,
water, underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
swimming, on the boat,
That is
scream, swim.
Honestly, the screenplay is the in the redundancy of the action is the worst part about it. Because as wonderful and beautiful as the underwater photography is, it's also, here's the hard truth about underwater stunts: they're boring, right? Because they're slow, and you're like, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, bruh,
Yeah.
you can't. What creates excitement and tension is mobility, right? And forward momentum. There's no forward momentum.
You know,
Um,
I will say that for most of the movie, I think you're accurate. I do think that there was a really like the scene where she goes for a swim
Yeah.
and the
It's good.
creature is
Yes.
just like going
That's
around
because-
her in this amazement.
You know why it
and
works?
Great choreography.
You know why that works? It works because of choreography, of staging, of the photography, but also because this is we haven't been, it wasn't redundant yet. Haven't been in the water 14 times with the creature yet.
Yeah.
So
And she's moving pretty fast through that water, and she's alone.
yeah, well, there's some. I mean, Spielberg took some inspiration from this for Jaws for sure. The shot where we see her underwater. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
from the first scene in Jaws, or Jaws is from the
Yeah.
first scene. You know, Jaws' first scene is from this for sure. That had to have, embellished, just kind of embedded into his brain.
That
But,
and like the beginning shot of like that boat just like taken off from the dock. I was like,
Mhm.
ooh, this feels a lot like Jaws to me. I
Yeah,
don't know.
and there's some. So the setup is the setup's not bad. I think the setup is good, and
Mhm.
I like her characters too. I like her a lot. I think she's really good, Kay, and I like Jack. Mark can go fuck himself.
Drama.
He's such a jealous little bit.
He's definitely a bit, Derek. He's hardcore bit.
Yeah.
He is, dude. He's like just, hope that you care about me that much, Kay. You're like, she doesn't.
Mhm.
Fuck yourself, guy. Jeez.
Yeah. Oof.
So he's basically the antagonist to a degree. Kind of fulfills the Carl Denham role from King Kong a little bit. He's overly zealous, right? Overly ambitious, but they also add this like weird. So when you were talking about remake, Derek, as I was watching this movie, there's the scenes where the three of them have like some scenes together and some banter, and you kind of feel the chemistry and see this lush, beautiful stuff. I was like, this would be a great, big budget remake with three like big star leads, and and of course make it more action oriented and bigger.
Oh yeah, you'd have to
or
like saturate the.
yeah, I mean,
storyline
you
with
or at least
something
make
that's
it more
more-
tension based. Maybe don't make him go into the
Yeah.
water 7 times. Maybe only 5. That sort of stuff. But no, I was like, I could see this as I was watching. I was like, I could see this was like, you have like a couple of like, you have like, I don't know, Ryan Gosling and Chris Pine and those two roles with like, somebody like I don't know, Emily Blunt or something. You know what I mean? Emma Stone.
I knew you were gonna
As,
say
like,
that. I knew you were gonna
Yeah.
say that.
Well,
I
Emma
don't know
Stone?
why, but when you said the biggest stars right now, those are like the people
Those
that
are
I
the
pictured.
yeah.
They
Well,
were
I
just in
mean,
a movie together.
yeah. Well, Emma Stone and Ryan Gosling have been in like a couple movies together.
Yeah, and Emily
Mhm.
Blunt was in.
And Emily Blunt was just in The Fall Guy with him. Yeah, but like those kind. I mean, I could see that, and it would be a lot of fun. But so their dynamic is very interesting. I like Jack as a character though. Like I think he's an interesting character because he's a scientist first, but like this kind of swashbuckling, open shirt kind of 50s man, you know,
Mhm.
scientist, but also like sensitive to like the plight of. He's empathetic, is why
Yep.
I think he works as a hero. He's empathetic not only for other people but for the creature even.
Mhm. He's
And so,
gentle.
yeah, so I like that dynamic with him. Um, but guys, what do you think of the actors in these roles, in the characters themselves?
I like I like all the actors. I especially really like the captain of the boat.
I was going
Yes,
to talk
I
about
was
him.
about to say
He's the
that.
best character. I was going to say
Yep.
he's the best character by
Yeah,
far because he has the most
he's very
personality.
fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, also that scene where what's his face tries to like bully
Mark.
him, and he's just
Yeah.
like pulls the knife. He was like, no, we
That
gotta do
was
that.
the
Pull the anchor, and I'm
best.
like, yeah, you get him, Cap.
Yeah,
Yes, dude, that was the best.
Yeah, don't let that guy
yeah,
bully
Like,
you. Just 'cause he's got
finally.
money.
Yeah.
yeah. That guy's the best. Yeah, he's definitely the
That's not a
best.
knife.
He just has this big smile on his face still, like he
Yeah.
never breaks. He's just like,
Yeah,
would you like to say something to me?
yeah. Like cigar in his mouth. You're like, yeah, this guy's the
Mhm.
fucking coolest. Yeah,
yeah.
I like the actors a lot too. Do you know what movie I think tried to kind of ape this movie a little bit from the modern era? I'm gonna say it. You're gonna at first you're gonna be like, what? And then you're gonna realize how right I am. Fucking Anaconda.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Yes, dude. Yes, definitely.
Doesn't it?
I mean,
Yeah.
they're in the Amazon, like on the river.
Yep. And we have we have the one character that gets hospitalized essentially and is like the Eric Stoltz character, kind of just in bed. It's just, it has some Anaconda to it, which we need to do Anaconda at some point. The movie's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a
The
long
CGI has
time.
not aged well.
It didn't
Not at
age
all.
well then. It wasn't.
Well, I
It didn't
know,
age
but at
well in
least then it was
'96.
kind of like newer.
Yeah.
But it definitely has not.
I'm not gonna lie. When Anaconda came out, that was my jam back in the day. I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I love.
I remember
it when I was
renting
little.
it. It's so funny. I remember renting Anaconda from. This is such a random memory I have, but I rented it from the video store inside of Kroger.
Whoa!
I
Video
never,
store inside a Kroger.
never have I ever rented a movie from Kroger.
Do you remember that there was a
I
video store inside
remember it.
Kroger?
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
remember it. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't.
But Great play. I don't know why Kroger didn't like hype that up a little bit more because
I know.
obviously you're a big
It was so
chain.
random. We were at this. I was like, oh, let's go to the video store that's randomly in Kroger. And I found it, and it had what was cool about Kroger's videos. This is why I remember it. Is because you know how when you rented a VHS, you'd get a clear plastic case,
Yep.
clamshell case that you get,
Or
or a
blue.
blue or whatever color, but it's a clamshell
Yeah.
plastic case.
I liked the blue.
Kroger had a had like a protective sleeve that went over the regular cardboard VHS tape, and they gave you the whole thing. So you got the case inside of a case, and you squeezed the sides, and the VHS tape would pop out.
What?
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I might have a picture of that because I am just now putting this together. But my mom, when I was little, worked at Kroger,
Uh-huh.
and she has a picture of her on Halloween, and she's dressed up as this like spider lady, and it was the coolest costume ever to me. I was like, that was so awesome. And she's in like a movie, like a movie store, and I was always like, I don't know. I guess I just thought she also maybe worked at a movie store, but now I'm like, maybe she
It's
was in
Kroger.
Kroger.
Yes, that's where it was.
I'm gonna have to ask her about that. I'll show you guys
Yeah.
a picture if I can find it.
That's so funny.
I have got the best Halloween costume, and I can't tell you guys about it.
Oh
Well,
no.
tell us about it at the end when we get to that.
No, I'm not going to tell you until Halloween when you see it.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't
I'll
wait
wait.
till Halloween.
I can't
know, I'm
either.
gonna dangling the cheese out there.
Oh my god.
It's better than cutting the cheese.
Something to do with spiders.
You do all the time. Yep. It has
It
to do
has
with spiders.
nothing
Yeah.
to do with spiders at all.
What?
Oh, I know what he's going to be. A Kroger employee.
No, no. Ellie gave me the idea. I don't know why I just remembered it, but I'm like so excited now for Halloween because my daughter, when we were reading a book, said something incorrectly, and then I'm like, genius! It's gonna be a Halloween costume.
Excellent. Well, we'll see it in the Halloween episode. But right now it's June, so let's continue talking about Creature from the Black Lagoon.
This is when we get ready for Halloween, though.
Yes, always.
We started early.
So the plot, like we said, the basic kickoff of the plot is fine. I think it's once they get to once they get to like the jungles, and they're kind of going through the lagoon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is when it becomes redundant because they're just kind of stuck in this one little patch, and
Yeah.
I agree.
they go
Sitting ducks.
swimming for like 5 minutes underwater, and then they come up, and then we get another scene of the creature. Then they go swimming for 10 minutes in the water, and they come up. I think that's the stuff that hurts the movie the best. It's also memorable because we get some cool stuff, but we also get some really strange shot choices, I think, and like really weird angles for stuff. I think they break the rule of 180 a couple times, which is really weird. Like we see like a guy looking this way, and then the other guy's looking this way, and you're like, are they talking to? Are they not talking to each other? I don't understand what's going on. The creature's coming this way. This guy's here. Then the next thing you know, the creature's under here, and you're like, I don't know what
Yeah.
the geography of any of this is.
Yes, and like with the kill at the beginning. We missed the kill at the beginning, but they kill the people that are waiting at the camp
Yes.
in the tents, and I was really like that the same thing of like the camera shots were like I was like, how many people are getting killed right now?
Yeah, it's very confusing. There's some very confusing setups and shots in this movie, some of them.
And I did
not
not
like-
remember that scene either.
It's not movie breaking or anything, but it's just like kind of weird. You're like, huh, I'm kind of
Maybe
out of this.
a
at
little
this part.
disorienting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's confusing geographically. The underwater stuff is very confusing geographically, I think,
Oh yeah, definitely.
because you see, because they have them coming at you, then they have them coming this way, then you see them in the same shot, then the creature's under here. You're like, they're just kind of splicing it together, trying to make it work. But you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. When Mark finally gets his, there is a moment that in a modern movie I 100% would see happening, which is when they're tumbling in the ground, in the dirt's kicking up, which is a great visual, and he's coming in. I could 100% see him seeing what he thinks of the creature and shooting and hitting Mark to add like some gray to the movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was like, oh, that could happen, I was like, it's 1954. That's definitely not going to happen. And it did not. Instead, we get to Mark, gets mauled to death essentially by the creature. By the way, the creature's kills, he's all about like grabbing heads.
Yeah, I just smothers them, I guess, maybe.
He's supposed to like claw them, but we can't show that in the 50s on screen, so we
Yeah.
get like off screen. Oh, he mutilated that guy.
Strangling them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's his other favorite move, is strangling. Ah.
Yeah, I mean,
funny.
you
And
have to play.
He has
within
to have
the
super
rules.
strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh,
Which
he definitely
does
has super strength.
Yeah, there's that scene where he gets caught in the net, and they think it's a rock or something, but he's like, it's moving, and then he rips a hole in the net, and you're just like, okay.
That scene, the net scene. Here's what I would have done. Here's what I think would have helped this movie. I don't think we should have saw the creature until after the net scene. I think it would have been
Yeah.
way more effective, right?
Yeah, I could see
To
that.
have this
yeah,
unknown, and we see it being pulled and stuff. Then when they pull up the net and you just see the hole, your mind's already like, "What is this thing?" You know what I mean? What is this thing? And then when you see it, it'd be more impactful, I think. Also, they didn't just randomly show it. Like the first shot of the creature, he's just like,
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
He's doing that a lot, man. But he probably can't see. He's like, "Where am I going?"
Yeah.
But like
Vince
it's not
Vaughn
like a
in the Freaky Friday.
it's not like an epic shot of him. You know what I mean? They didn't like have an establishing cool shot of him. You know, think about Frankenstein wanders into the room backwards and turns around, and we get 3 quick close-ups of that gorgeous makeup. Dracula, we get a stunning push in. You know, and the creature gets this.
When you put it that
like,
way.
Well, yeah, when you put it that way, it's kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm
not.
not talking complete shit against Jack Arnold. I think he built some tension in some good scenes in this movie, but he also makes some weird, questionable choices, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think you guys are right with the redundancy is probably the Lydia. You said redundancy. That's I think the best way to describe it, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's always the girl who sees it. Like, she's always the one to be like, ah, you know, like, we have her screaming, like, how many times that she will be the one to turn around and see the thing on the boat again.
Look, I get it. I get it. Being a, horror filmmaker, a writer especially, you have to figure out ways to, especially if you're in an isolated area, you have to figure out ways to like make your villain, your slasher killer, your monster, whatever it is, attack the people and keep the tension going. So, I understand that, but what makes it bad is that they just keep doing the same thing over and over.
Yeah.
It's not like they separate the group because these guys are off having sex. These guys are drinking downstairs. These guys are going for a walk in the park. It's like, hey, guys, let's go outside. And then somebody dies. They come back in. They're like, hey, guys, let's go back outside. Somebody dies. And they come back in. Hey, guys.
Their coffee.
Yeah.
Out there.
Hey, you guys want to go back outside? I noticed that there's like less of us here, but let's just go back outside.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. The log thing. So I like that the idea of what they're trying to do, have the creature trap them, but they spend way too much time on this log thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the last third of the movie is about this damn log. These damn logs.
Yeah, it's like more frustrating than it is scary.
Yeah, or suspenseful. Correct. But I do like Kay. I think she's an interesting character. I like how she's kind of a like no nonsense, and she kind of has made her way as a scientist. You know what I mean? Like she's like actually worthy of what she does. She's
like they have respect for her.
Yeah, she's renowned in her field. It's like, yeah, she's not just a pretty face, which she is, by the way. She's stunningly gorgeous.
Yeah,
might I add?
Like too gorgeous.
I mean,
she's a movie
good
star.
God. Yeah, I mean, it's Julia Adams is playing Kay, but she is just like, I'm watching it, starting, I'm seeing her, and then as the movie's going on, I'm like, my God, that woman's just
like, my God,
gorgeous.
That woman can swim.
Yeah, she can.
I cannot. So I have so much respect for that because I cannot swim at all.
Yeah. So in the underwater scenes, by the way, Kay is played by Ginger Stanley, who is a female stunt person. Just thought that she should get the credit that she deserves for her underwater stunts as well.
Definitely. That's the scariest kind of stunt, I think, personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think
being caught on
fire is really good either. That terrifies the shit out of me.
I would much rather be caught on fire in a stunt than be underwater in a stunt.
You crazy.
I don't know.
Crazy.
Kane
I
Hodder
mean,
might have some stuff to say about you.
those
Yeah.
guys are like freezing cold though. Like when you do a stunt correctly, I should say,
Yeah,
you're almost frozen.
yeah. But yeah, it's great stuff. That is. So what else you want to say about Creature here before I get into some fun facts? That's kind of all there is to say, right? Like the
We've
The
did pretty good.
the window scene, like the one thing that makes this movie so
Oh.
cheesy to me is when he's like reaching his hand through the window.
he's reaching his
Like,
hand through everything.
Yeah.
Also, you guys need to remember this movie was shot for 3D.
Yeah.
Right. So that would have
So-
been like really coming at you.
Yeah, and the scene where he shoots the. That's why we have the scene where he shoots the spear into camera, is because it's 3D. So we get some of those, and you can't help but I never knock 3D movies for that shit if I'm watching them in 2D because I'm like,
No,
well,
that's the point.
yeah, they were shooting for the medium. I understand that. I never dock movies points for that, or I'm like, oh, that's so cheesy.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, it looks fucking cheesy when it's not coming at you, but when it's coming at you, it's pretty legit. You know,
Yeah, pretty cool.
even if it's as long as it's not super contrived, like where they're just like,
Yeah.
you get this coffee, you know what I mean? Then you're just like,
Yes, which is like
eye rolling.
Spy Kids 3D.
oh, ugh.
Did you ever see that?
Yes,
Uh-huh.
the Spy Kids
Sure
are
did.
rough, man. Spy Kids are rough.
That was the best. Spy Kids 3D.
Yeah,
That might have been my
Yeah.
first 3D movie, and it was very contrived like that.
guys,
of like things
guys,
just
you
Friday
know
the
what my
13th.
first 3D movie that I actually saw in 3D?
what?
Fucking Freddy's Dead.
Really?
That is true. That was the first one I saw in 3D. The first movie
Yes.
I saw that was made for 3D was probably Friday the 13th.
Yeah, I think me too.
But you're
me too.
right.
Fridays.
In theaters.
But
Yeah,
in
that was the
theaters,
first
yeah,
time.
Nightmare on Elm Street or Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare was in 3D. 1991. I remember it well. I was way too young to be going to see it, but I was there. But
Your nephew, man, is gonna follow in your footsteps.
yeah, he does. He does love the. He hasn't been allowed to watch Freddy for a while because he got in trouble, or he was having nightmares, so he wasn't allowed to watch it. But they're starting to like kind of, reintroduce him to this stuff. I was
saw that he
wearing
fell asleep with a
with his
hockey mask.
hockey mask. So
Jason mask.
the other night, or when was that? A couple weekends ago, last weekend, Lydia, when we all went to the lake.
Yeah.
I was wearing a Friday the 13th shirt. It was my Friday the 13th 3D shirt, actually.
The 3D
And-
shirt, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, Is that Jason Voorhees? I was like, yeah. He's like, that Jason? I said, yeah. And he's like, who's that? I was like, oh, that's also Jason. Why he look like that? Because he's in 3D. And then he's just asking me all about it. And then he just wouldn't stop talking about it. He's like, Jason Voorhees. I was like, yep, that's Jason. And then he's like, I want to see you on your phone. I want to see pictures of Freddy. I was like, I don't know if I'm allowed to show you Freddy pictures anymore, buddy.
And then he was obsessed with the robot.
Oh, yeah. The Ring doorbell, basically. The Alexa doorbell.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Jake
he's
told him
just
it was
like,
a robot.
so then he was like, I'm scared of the robot. It's not like the Terminator. It's not going to get you. It's not a real robot. Classic.
It's so cute. So
That is
cute.
very funny. So, guys, let's rate this thing. Then I'll give you guys some trivia. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
All right.
I don't know what to rate this thing though.
I know. Me neither. Derek, what are we going to rate
got it.
this?
Derek,
be the
Derek, what
barometer.
are we rating this?
You guys ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
So it was enjoyable. I tried to picture what this would have looked like in 1954. I think that's when it came out. Because I think the suit was probably a little bit ahead of its time. I've seen some of the movies from back then, and you're just like, oh, geez. That's definitely a trash can that they repurposed. But So I as a moviegoer back then, I wish that I could feel that for the first time. Seeing it now, I think the suit still looks really good. We've talked about the
Yep.
few flaws that it had. It does have, it is very redundant in areas, but I do think that the cast looked great. They were, they looked like movie stars. They did a really good job. I had fun watching this movie. I'm going to give this movie a 7.
Okay.
I'm going to go with 7. And some balloons.
And some balloons.
Lydia, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess that would be about right. Historically, I think this movie is really cool.
Yeah,
If
cool.
I could go back and watch this movie, I would love to see people's reactions to this, because were they like terrified or were they just having fun?
I think they were having fun, because I just don't know how this creature could ever be like terrifying
Like,
the way that
someone
it's
must
shot
have
in
been
this
scared.
movie. Yeah. If they would have
Right,
shot
yeah.
him more in shadows and, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Maybe.
Not in
but
broad daylight.
he's just coming on screen like that. You're just like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, let's go with, I think 7 sounds about right. I think 8 would be maybe too high
much.
for a movie
Yeah.
that's not actually very scary.
I agree. I think that's probably where it should. I think that's the rating on IMDb is around a 7.
I just checked it, and it was a 6.9. So we're right on par.
That's about right. Yeah, that's about right, I think, because while I was watching it this time, I enjoyed it too, but there was also parts where I just was like, oh, here we go again, They're in the water again. It kind of, so I was like, when we're gearing up to talk about it, I was like, I need to remember the order of the times they got into the water. This has just happened so often. But yeah, I think it's good. I think it doesn't overstay its welcome. I think that maybe we could have tightened up some of that third act stuff. Of course, it ends like all these movies do. The heroes, save the girl, and then they shoot it. Apparently, the spear did nothing, but they just pump it full of lead, and that'll stop him. But at least it's the cool captain shows up and saves the day, and and I think that's what the stuff I was talking about. That feels like old Hollywood good stuff that would really play well with a modern twist. I think that would be those kind of still archetypical characters would be really cool to play and really fun to play with, right? So I'm also going to give it a 7 because I think that the makeup does a lot of the heavy lifting for me in this movie. The creature himself. Plus, I kind of feel for the Gill Man. I mean, fucking Mark starts it, really, okay? Because I mean, yes, the Gill Man kills the two guys at the camp at the beginning, which, by the way, is hilarious. What you were talking about, Lydia, because he just kills that one guy, and you think he's alone in the tent. Then this other guy's just fucking there, and you're like,
yeah,
where was this guy? Did he not help? What does he do? Is he a heavy sleeper?
Was he sleeping during all that roaring going on? This like pig squeal roar thing.
But as soon as the creature's like curious, he sees Kay. He's like, oh, I like her. He's just curious. And then Mark's like, fuck you, spear. You're like, okay.
Yes.
Now he's coming after your asses.
Yeah.
You wandered into his swamp, buddy. He didn't wander into yours. It's his lagoon, not your lagoon.
Yes.
Son of a bitch.
And that's why, Guillermo del Toro, has his whole thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, exactly. I mean, I was going to mention that we kind of got a modernish take on this. He's not the creature from the Black Lagoon. No. He's his own character, but essentially the Shape of Water is like the creature from the Black Lagoon style movie, because Guillermo was going to make a creature from the Black Lagoon movie, and he should have. That would have been epic. But I'm going to walk you through some of that trivia right now, because in 1982, John Landis wanted Jack Arnold to direct a remake of the film. So John Landis was going to try to make this in 1982 with a big budget, and to make it in 3D, and then it was canceled for budgetary concerns. So we almost got a John Landis version. But guys, here's the one. Here's the one that just breaks my heart. You ready? In 1992, John Carpenter was developing a remake.
What?
He hired Bill Phillips, who wrote Christine, and had Rick Baker doing a 3D model of the creature. But the studio didn't greenlight it.
What
Why?
a bunch of dumb people.
Idiots! Idiots! Can you
Yep.
imagine a John Carpenter directed Creature from the Black Lagoon movie?
With
I would
Tom
like to live in
Atkins.
that universe.
And it would have been awesome. Yeah.
With Tom Atkins in it.
We need
Oh,
to
yeah.
build a device that takes us to the parallel world.
Yeah,
So,
just
yeah,
at least for that, yeah.
slide.
You know, and maybe other people were never born in it.
I mean, yeah.
You know, ferrets live freely and not as hair accessories. So then Herschel Weingrod and Timothy Harris wrote a new script, and Peter Jackson was offered the director's chair in 1995.
Really?
But he chose instead to work on King Kong, which, of course, fair enough. You know, we got Peter Jackson's King Kong out of it eventually.
What if King Kong, like, what if Creature from the Black Lagoon would have been King Kong? Like, that big of a movie, like, super long.
It'd probably be boring if it follows this script.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
They're in the water for 2 hours in this one.
Yeah.
They get in and out 25,000 times. But I'm not done with this wild ride yet, because check this out.
Okay.
In 1996, Ivan Reitman was planning to direct a sequel or a remake to this. Ivan Reitman, of course, is the director of Ghostbusters. But it never materialized. Then, after the success of The Mummy, Gary Ross signed on to write and produce the remake with his father, Arthur Ross, which is one of the original writers. But it never materialized. Then, in August of 2002, Guillermo del Toro was attached to the remake, but he wanted the story to focus more on the creature's viewpoint. But, of course, Universal rejected the concept, and he turned it into The Shape of Water, which, by the way, won an Academy Award for fucking Best Picture. You're lost, Universal. You're lost.
Yeah.
Then, in 2005, Breck Eisner was signed on to direct. It never materialized due to the writer's strike. He instead made The Crazies, the remake of The Crazies. Then, in 2012, there's going to be another remake, and it never happened. Then in 2020, Universal was considering Scarlett Johansson and Chris Evans for a remake, which would have been fucking baller, by the way. That'd have been excellent. But it never materialized. So now, here we are to current day. Okay? The last any bit of news we had was it was going to be part of the Dark Universe that never developed, right? It was going to be a reboot story written by Jeff Pinkner and a script written by Will Beall. But of course, the Dark Universe never happened because of the flop of The Mummy, and that's where we are. Still no remake.
Dang.
Now, after all of those, we still should have gotten the John Carpenter 1992 version because it would have been sick.
Seriously, could you imagine the atmosphere?
No, it would be the best. Foggy Lagoon? Come on.
The music?
Yeah, I can just... Oh. The creature would be so scary because Rick Baker's doing it. So he'd look amazing and Carpenter was shooting amazingly. Oh. We were robbed. Robbed by Universal.
Tom Atkins would be on that boat with...
Tom Atkins would 100% Be the lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 1992. He would 100% be lead worthy.
And like Jamie Lee Curtis.
Or you could have got Tom Atkins as the other romantic part, the guy as Mark, and Kurt Russell as Jack.
Oh, that would be perfect.
That would be the best. And then Jamie Lee Curtis, that would be the best. Oh, come on.
Dang. We are in the wrong dimension.
Damn you, universe! Taking this from us. Speaking of Tom Atkins, it is time to Atkinize this movie. Who would Tom Atkins be? I guess he'd be Mark, right? After what we just said.
Yeah.
In the remake.
I could see it.
Yep.
I could see him being either, really.
Yeah.
Either of those guys. And doing well. Because he can do a good, like, jerk, you know?
Yeah, he can. It's a creep show, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, he'd be great in either of those leads.
Except the girl would like, have to fall for him.
Yeah, so he'd have to almost be Jack by default.
There would be like a little bit more of a love triangle.
Yeah, they kind of did like love triangle light.
Yeah, they like she never like wavered.
No, never.
Yeah, and was it part of the story that she might have been, or it alluded to that she might have been loosely romantically involved with the other guy?
I think there's a conversation. There's a conversation with the doctor where it's kind of almost spelled out that she never dated him, because she says, you know, he's always
right before
he's
he
done
gets
so
attacked.
much for me. He's done all these things, and then he's like, yeah, but you more than made up for that with all the money you made him with your research and stuff. You know,
yeah, like
all
couldn't have got there if it wasn't for you.
Yeah, you're the one that got him to the position that he's in.
And then he gets attacked.
And then he's attacked, and he has to wear like bandages on his face afterwards.
What was up with those bandages?
It was actually leading into a remake of The Invisible Man from there.
Yeah. Goodness, that was so dorky.
Okay, guys. Derek, it is your turn to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Correct?
Yep.
What are we watching?
All right. Already got it. All right. So we're gonna do a time warp. We're gonna go forward into the 80s.
Just a jump to the left. Not a step to the right.
So anywho,
you said time warp.
Yeah. And then you went to Rocky Horror Picture Show, and that's not where we're going.
Let's do the time warp. Is that what we're doing?
Oh my gosh, no, we're not doing that.
Okay.
I don't do musicals. All right, so let's get back on track. So we're gonna do a movie that scared me when I was a kid. So I watched this way too young.
Cigarette Man.
No, you mother. Chucka. No, I'm trying to think of when I might have watched this movie. It had to be in like the late 90s, maybe, or the late 80s, super early 90s. So this movie came out in 1987, and we are gonna watch The Gate.
Ooh, yes.
What?
The Gate.
The Gate.
The Gate.
The Gate is a good one.
Streaming on Tubi Plex for free, the Roku channel.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you just want to give some money to the studios, $3.99 on Apple TV.
Yeah, dude. The Gate. That's gonna be a good one. The Gate. Oh, you've never seen The Gate?
I think I have.
It's a gateway horror movie for sure. It's a gateway horror movie. And I remember as a kid, it has some spooky parts. It has some great practical effects.
Mm-hmm. It got me, man. When I watched it when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, this is great.
I think I saw it on Prime, and I was just like, oh, that looks like a good 80s horror movie. I'll click on that.
It is a good one. It is a good one. We'll talk about it. We'll see where
I'll see if I remember it.
Derek, got a story for us?
Only a couple of cute stories.
We need cute stories. We need funny ones. We need drama. We need action.
I mean,
we need stories about you spitting in people's hair and shit.
That did happen. So a cute story. my wife was driving to pick me up from the dealership today because I'd have my truck looked at, but um, there's a small little town. It's called Clarksville, right? If you blink, you'll miss it. It's really small.
Yeah, there's a train there, but you have to catch it because it's the last one.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway,
It's a monkey's joke. That was a monkey's joke.
I know. My son's name is Clark, so my wife is like, I'm on the phone with him, and my wife's like, "Look, Clark, we're in Clarksville," and he just so innocently he goes, "Is this where all the Clarks live?" That's really cute. Let's see. I can't tell you that one because it's gotta wait until Halloween. My daughter inspired my Halloween costume. I just hope I don't forget about it.
That's our show for tonight. Creature from the Black Lagoon. Check it out. It's interesting. It's fun. Also,
Classic.
next week we're going to watch an 80s classic, The Gate. So I'm excited to watch that. It's available on Tubi and what else did you say, Derek? Is it on Fubo?
Plex and the Roku channel.
Damn, not
I
on
was
Fubo.
just thinking about that. I was just thinking about that the other day.
I don't know why Fubo makes me laugh so much, but it's hilarious. So watch it on all of those, and stay tuned for the movie news. It'll be coming your way probably after this episode airs. So stay tuned for that. And you can follow us online at HiLaProductions.com. You can follow us on Facebook at HiLa Productions. You can follow us on the Twitter machine at Lydia Spooky, D Dogly Master, and me at Racket. Be sure to comment down below on your thoughts on the Creature from the Black Lagoon. And also tell us, what the hell is Fubo? We just need to know. We need to know the secrets to Fubo. So until next week, for Derek the Master and Lydia Judy, I'm Jamie Hiles. Remember, if you're going to scream bloody movies. I don't know if you heard from.
Nothing happened. That was my chair, guys.
Oh my god!
That was my chair. It's squeaky sometimes.